making the environment good, one person, while collaboration is going beyond making the environment good to actually be part of that process.
Okay. That's correct. But let's just look at it. Being helpful by doing what is wanted or asked for. So if I ask you, help me carry this water and put on my head, and you do it, you are cooperative. Let me use one for the example. You see, the other room, husband and wife. Although we were all adults, just an explanation. The man comes back home, the woman is very tired, he gets to the other room, and the man wants to say, today, I want to go out. The man said, I'm tired, I cannot. Say, it's okay, I'm just here, do what you want. That is cooperative. But when it is mutually beneficial, both of them think today is today, that is what collaboration. Just one for the example. But let's look at the other side. Shared ownership and interest in specific outcome. For collaboration, the two individuals or group members must have shared ownership, interested in the outcome because it will benefit everybody. In cooperation, the benefit is not necessary for all, it will be for one person. In fact, if I want to do something, maybe there's an action I want to take in an office, and you think it's not really the right action, but I don't want to disturb you, you are cooperating. Because if something goes wrong and the fact that you know about it, you didn't say it, you are liable. That is cooperation. It's different from collaboration. Collaboration when we are mutually interested. And sometimes I just use this funny image. You see here, this is a trend, the road is climbing. Someone said, please help me with my bag. Can you shoot for me? I carry your bag and I help you and I adjust for you and all of that. I'm cooperating, I'm helping you to get on, feel okay. Right? I don't know where you're going. I'm not interested in your destination, you're not benefiting me, but I'm helping you. But here, they have a task. They've practiced, they know they need to accomplish, they need to impress people. There is a goal that they're all interested in, that is collaboration. And today, I want us to focus on learning collaboration with natural beings created by God, the gifts. But before I do that, givers gain is a philosophy that is based on what? Reciprocity. Right? It's not one-sided. So it means if I am giving referral, working so hard to make sure you get something, you should also be thinking the same. And do not forget that that does not happen, because I've seen that some persons, I believe in your chapter and some other places, have what I call transactional mindset. Everyone thinks it's referral. But there are other things that must happen before this referral is built. Right? You're coming to a meeting, you're becoming visible, you are credible, you are contributing. Right? When they check the PAMS report, it's not to come to attendance, it's absent, and then you're shouting, give me a referral. It's not going to work. So when everyone is doing something to help the chapter grow, and by so doing get benefit individually, then that's givers gain mindset. It's not just about the referral that comes to you. And each person is expected to be part of that, and when you do that, you are collaborating. So quickly, this quote by Ryunosuke Sotaro says, individually we are one drop. Together we are an ocean. And that's why I want to now show you this. Let's look at this image quickly for me. Do you see any differences?
Yes.
Yes, sir. What do you do first? What's the first thing you see?
On the left, all the wheels are square.
Yes.
On the right, one, the back tire is round, and the front one is square.
Yes, sir.
And the load appears to be
Heavier here. Yes, sir. What else? There are more.
Then the ones on the left, are they holding it back?
You're asking me now.
They're actually holding it back.
Yes.
And the ones in front.
Collaborative effort.
The ones in front of the left seem to be the ones pulling. The ones behind are holding it back.
Okay.
The right, it appears the person in front is not pulling. I can't see the
It's
rope.
all right, you're very correct.
I can't see the rope.
You're very correct. Now, this is what I call the journey of collaboration, the collaboration journey. Now, as a chapter, there's leadership, everyone is supposed to support what's happening. But the truth is, if we need to look at what is a reality today, There are individuals who have responsibility who are not discharging them, or they're a bit slow. And there are some who are going, over and above to do everything to make sure it works. So if you look at this, and Benjamin was very correct. These ones behind are pulling back. The leader is trying to push forward as much as possible. Here, they are pushing, but the leader is not pulling forward. Those situations happen. But it doesn't matter what happens at each point in time, we must all continually ensure that the journey does not stop. We put in as many persons as possible to be part of that collaboration journey to get our results. So I'm just preparing our minds that this happens in every single organization. We all cannot be at the same pace. There are some who will need some extra kicks to get to where they want to go, some need more calls, more pushes, and all of that. And there are some that actually just a little phone call and appeal and do what they do. But it doesn't matter where we find ourselves, we cannot stop that journey of collaboration. And for us to learn more what collaboration is, I would say just like Gillies, our collaboration makes us faster, stronger, and more resilient. Today, we will explore how we can harness that power in our own teams as a chapter. So are you ready to learn from the geese? Are you ready? Yes. How many of us have actually observed the geese fly in a natural environment? How many of us? How many of us have read about the geese and how they fly? Okay. One person. Very interesting. So there's something for us to learn from the geese. Now let's get into it. The first thing I would say is when you see the geese fly, that's how they fly. You may not be 100% symmetric, but they fly in what we call the V formation. Always. And there's a reason for that. Anyone wants to take a guess? Yes, Benjamin.
They fly in this formation to conserve energy.
That's number one, true. To conserve energy.
And they move faster and they go
They move
faster.
faster and they go farther. Yes, when they fly in V formation. Yes, sir.
When they fly in this formation, they tend to beat the storm.
They tend to beat the storm, that's true. Anyone else? You know, there's a scientific research that was done, and it was found out that when the geese fly in V formation, they can do 16 hours of flight non-stop. And that when they fly in V formation, that flight efficiency is increased by 70%. 70% efficiency. How fast, how well, how high, how quickly they get to their destination. 70% increment, as opposed to one goose flying. So I want you to situate that here. If you are running alone as an individual, doing everything without considering the contribution of others, how far can you go and how well can you go? That's the question that says we need what? Each other to work together. Collaboration lesson. Number one lesson is when you share direction, the same direction, and working as a team, it gets us to destination quicker and easier. By helping ourselves and accomplish it greater. So the question is, how many of us can beat our chest and say we are helping others and not thinking about ourselves alone? So the first lesson is we understand that in journey of collaboration, we share a direction, and that we are not traveling as individuals, we are traveling as groups. So even though we have a president, it doesn't mean that we should kill him with the job, or that the VP, when the president is not there, should be killed with the job. That each of us have our responsibilities, titles, right? But even those without titles also have duties. And we must feel our duties together because they common goal. And that common goal is to grow the chapter, to make sure there's more money coming in, to ensure that we can learn more and as we network even more as collaboration. So let's look at one more thing about the geese. When the goose leaves the formation, for some reason decides, okay, I don't want to fly again. I want to fly on my own. Now, he feels the sense of the air and the difficulty of flying alone. In fact, the speed of the goose drops, cannot fly higher, will become less efficient and very, very tired. It's the same thing. If we say BRI is also about networking, and you come in here and you are networking with yourself, who will pass referral to you? No. So we must build on the strength of the chain that connects us, because there's a saying that the weakest part, the strongest part of the chain is as strong as the weakest part. Because once that weak part is broken, the chain becomes useless. So it doesn't matter how strong the president or the VP or mentor, they are all that. If we all disconnect, nothing is going on. So everyone is needed and required to get the result. So if you are not connected to the chapter and making your contribution, this is a time to think that the and say, no, I'm going to struggle, I need to come back. And he said, then he comes back and draws information and takes advantage of the flux power in front of him. That's what happens. So what's the next lesson that we have to learn? Lesson number 2, lift each other up. That's important. How do we care when we don't see some of our members? Someone was in a testimony that he gets a call from the VP or the president and they ask how you're doing, why you're not in the meeting, we missed you. That is one way to do that. It says by staying in tune and united beside those who are going in the same direction, the effort will be less. Responsibility is shared. Okay? And it will be easier and pleasant to reach the goals. Everyone will be inclined to accept and give help. I love that part. Accept and give help. No, there are individuals who, because of who they think they are, they don't want to accept help. They think they know it, but behind the curtain they struggle. And such individuals find it difficult to also give help. In BNI, givers game mentality is give help, receive help. That's one thing we must take. Let's look at another one. When the leader goes gets tired of flying, this is Mr. President. I mean, there's nothing that says he must be at a meeting or present of the meeting for the meeting to become successful. The GIVES teaches us what is called shared leadership. When the president is in these schools, people should not struggle to run the meeting. Things should not be slow because we have all learned. And so what the GIVES does is when the leader is tired, they share leadership. The leader will go back to the formation and another will take leadership. There's one beautiful thing, let me explain about these GIVES. Now when they fly, the ones behind fly a little higher than the one in front. So the leader doesn't fly the highest. He flies like here, the next one up, they build it up. And so the one in front, as he's flapping, is giving energy to the one behind. And the one at the back, as the sound, the next called the quack sound. You hear the quack, quack, quack. It is saying the one in front, and behind you keep moving. This is natural, confirmed, it's not my word, you can research it. And that way they can fly 16 hours non-stop because they are receiving help and giving help. Practical example from birds of lower intelligence, how much more will the individuals? Right? So he goes to the end of the information while another takes the lead. And that's what happens. So lesson number 3 is also share leadership. We must share leadership. We must be willing to ask people to try things, to take up positions, to do what they should do when those who have been naturally assigned to it are not available. There must be mutual respect between us at all times. Sharing the hardest problems and tasks. That's something we must learn from that. The GIVES slide information, they want to encourage the ones I talked about before. That's how they make. It is the same thing. You know, there's a training I designed with a friend long time ago, we'll call it giving the diamond. It's just a way of appreciating, recognizing, and thanking people. So when the president says thank you, it's an encouragement, right, from the leader. And then when the president does well, why do we finally go to say thank you, president, you're doing great? You must only come from the leadership, president, vice, mentor, to say thank you. To say or to give some gifts or some sort of thing. You must also be willing to do the same thing to leadership to encourage them. It is symbiotic. That is something we must learn. We don't do that a lot in this part of the world, right? So in that way, they keep the same speed. So when the leader goes is flapping the wings, right, and transferring energy, the one behind is saying keep moving, and they maintain the same speed, and they can fly as high as 10,000 feet for 16 hours non-stop. That is efficiency unbelievable. So imagine what each of us can bring when we bring our talent, our expertise, our time, and our resources, how far we can go. As opposed to others folding their arms and watching that a few persons take on the responsibility and then they struggle with it. Lesson number 4, how for encouragement. When there is a courage and encouragement, the progress is greater. So Mr. President and leadership, when people do things extraordinary here, it is what I say thank you. Recognize them, showcase them, spotlight them, Make all the noise in the world about them. And then others say, oh wow, it could be me tomorrow. And like I said, when it is also from the leadership, the members should be more than willing to appreciate that. A timely word of encouragement almost, always motivates, helps, and strengthens. It produces the best of benefit. There's no doubt about that. That people, when they are either incentivized or motivated by way of simple hug, handshake, thank you, small surveillance, goes a long way to motivate them to do even more. When a goose gets sick or is injured or gets tired, this one again, I have seen in Nigerian solution, we don't pay attention to this. And that's something we need to continually be conscious of. Sometimes people run into financial problems, or they become sick, or there are family issues. A lot of things can make people disappear or become unavailable. How much do we care? The Greeks teach us a lesson. When any member gets sick, you know what happens? 2 others will go down with that one to go and attend to it while others are still flying. They will stay with that one until he dies or he recovers. So if he dies, it's like, bye, there's nothing else they can do. They move on. But if he recovers, they will call him to go, and they will fly until they meet that same flock, or they join another flock and are going to fly. That's a lesson that we humans should learn. How much do we care for and about our members when they run into some troubles we don't see them again? Do we pay attention? Do we take the pain to understand what's going on and see how we can support them? Because we want to have that philosophy that here says, leave no one behind. Leave no one behind. We must be able to take everyone along. And this is something for me that's very instructive, right? So they will ensure they stay with him protected until he's able to fly again or he dies. So lesson number 5, stay with the wounded. And the wounded is not just about injury, it's always having a family issue, whose business is suffering, right? Who for some reason is not able to attend meetings for reasons they have explained to you. Or even if they not explain it, do you put your phone call across to understand what's happening? We are talking about collaboration. And for that to happen, we must care for each other. Okay. So it says, if we bond together and support each other, if we make true the spirit of teamwork, for me that's critically important. It means everyone understands that he or she can be a comfortable shoulder for the other person to rest together and say, I can trust you. Regardless of our differences, we can rise and meet our challenges. I'm sure BNF has its own challenges. But we've been able to weather this this far because some individuals have said it doesn't matter what we have to do. Mr. Kim has spoken, the president, the few others, beautiful testimonies coming. But someone who does not know the story, how you started, will say, oh wow, great things happening. But some individuals took the bullet, took the bull by the horn, strong and said, we're going to commit our money, our time, we're going to drive it. And today you're here. Because those individuals started our work collaborating, not leaving each other. So we have to extend that so that we can build a more formidable, stronger, resourceful BNI culture. If we understand the real value of friendship, like I said that before, transition from being colleagues to being friends. If we are aware of the feeling of sharing, life will be easier and the passing of the years will more fulfilling. You have more money coming to your account more than once. But it's not just the money coming. You will know that it's going to become sustainable. And one deal today and then next 2 years no deal. No. But if you build friendship, it means I become conscious. Part of the things I've also learned in this BNI is when Madam Mebel and Ken Palmer tells us that we have to become marketing directors for each other's business. So when I become your friend, I keep my ears on the ground and my eyes open to every opportunity. So if it's not directly connected to what I do, I say, oh, who in BNI can benefit from this? And I go out of my way to make it happen. Right? So we have to come to that point, because when you have a friend, you call your friend, you go out of your way to care for that friend. That's critically important. So before I take the next 2 or 3 last slides, my question is, when it comes to inviting visitors, when it comes to being present in the meeting and being on time, is also key, very important. When it comes to the one-to-ones we talk about, the CEOs we talk about, and for me, most importantly, something we struggle with in my own chapter. People having that consciousness to go ahead and thank you for closed business. You see businesses closed, but you go to the report and you don't see it. Accountability is not there. So we must hold ourselves accountable for us to be able to say we are collaborating. Your own support, your short collaboration could be that you come to meeting all the time and you are visible. That could be enough. The other one could be that you are inviting visitors and you do everything to make sure they are members. That could be it. Your own collaboration could be that you are referring businesses. That could be it. It could be that when there is need to put funds together, you don't wait for, say, no, if I don't want to contribute, I've been contributing since now, let others contribute. If you have it, give. If you don't have it, it's okay. If you have it, give. And I've never seen anyone who lies as a result of his giving. No. Especially when you get into a course like this. So each one of us will need to say, where am I contributing? How am I helping to do the collaboration that is required? Because like I said, it's a thing of reciprocity. It's a thing that has to do with trust. And I like to share this. Because there cannot be true collaboration without mutual trust. And it says, a shared belief that you can depend on each other to achieve a common purpose. This BNI fortune has a common purpose. With the charter purpose and the larger BNI purpose. Right? Mutual trust removes impediments to improving group's effectiveness. If there is any doubt whatsoever, once mutual trust and friendship comes in, that doubt is taken away. Until this happens, the doubt will come into existence. And we cannot do collaboration when there are doubts. In a team, members work in the climate of trust. They are encouraged to openly express opinions, feelings, and doubts. It's okay to express doubts, get answers, and then go along the doubts, right? Team members share important information and ideas. In BNI, we are not supposed to hoard information. Because here, we do not have competing businesses, we have complementary businesses. So why do you hide information? Why do you find it difficult to open up and let your members, gain from your experience, from your network, from all the connections you have? So there's no competition. One classification and one memory. Clear? And then he says, they are fair, willing to be influenced, and fulfill their promises. Trust also fosters enthusiasm, ensuring the best of performance from everyone. When there's trust, in fact, I'm always looking forward to meetings. For those of you sharing a story, you don't want to hear how I struggled to join BNI. It's a story that Mr. Game and maybe I understand. Time constrained me from sharing that. But it took 6 months of to join BNI. But I finally got it. And I realized it doesn't matter how many countries of the world you visit, how many places, there's always something to learn from every group. You just need to open your mind. I tell you everywhere I go to train, that it doesn't matter whether you have a PhD or been working for 30 years. When you walk into a training room, open your mind as though you know nothing. The moment you come with that mindset of, I've been in the industry for 36 years, I've been a professor, I've done 20 researches, you block your mind from learning. And in adult learning, you tell people, look, adults learn the way they want to learn, but it doesn't matter how prepared you are. If your mind is not open to learning from even the youngest person, you will never learn anything. That's very important. And that's also a lesson for me when I joined BNI. So, in conclusion, I want to encourage building relationships. The reality check I did when I started asking how many persons, offices, homes, and all that, it's something I want to encourage you to do more. You have your meetings Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, what happens? Apart from the referral and the business, what about the non-business meetings? It's just sit over coffee and ask about the family. When we do one-to-one, we go back in history, our education, but there are people who still do not know a lot about where we're coming from, what we have done. So one-to-one will never have an end. So each time you meet, there is something new about you that the person will have to learn. Finding time to do that. Let's do collaboration. And if we do so, we can do not just a better BNI fortune, we can build better selves, individuals. And when we bring that to bear, then we will respect not just what we value as individuals, but also what we share as humans. So at the end, I want to say thank you for the time. I hope I was able to stay within the 25 minutes, but I told you. And I didn't want to be present to say this guy was wrong. I don't have an understanding. But thank you for the time. In closing, this is my final quote. A famous president of the US, who was the youngest to be ever elected and died, as a young person, JFK said something many years ago. He said the problems of humanity cannot possibly be solved by skeptics and cynics. You know, those individuals who doubt, who don't believe, cannot possibly be solved by them. Right? Because their horizons, what they see, what they view, are blocked by obvious realities. What are the realities in Nigeria today? The dollar, hunger, insecurity, trouble, everything. We have 1,001 reasons to not perform, to not do anything in this country. So, but you see, he says that he dreams of men and women who will see things that never were, never done, and ask, why not? If you check our question, actually, why? Electricity is not there, why? Bad road, why? Everything, why? But he says we should move from the point of why to the point of why not. And that why not, you should personalize it. So if you come to PNI Fortune and I think that the biggest challenge is not going to say, why don't I be the one to push this one? People don't come to meeting on time. Why don't I come always on time and lead by example? So let's move from the why question to the why not question and challenge ourselves. So if we motivate collaboration and grow the chapter, have more money in our bank accounts, build more friendship, have extra money to go on holidays and enjoy and spend it anyhow we want. We must build that collaboration and ask the one question. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so there are a few questions I'm more than happy to take. Mr. President has